let's start with this. Who here has built a link before? Thank God. Who here knows what the hats are in link building or SEO in general? More than I thought. Awesome. All right, cool. Who here has tried blackhat before? Oh, yes. This will be good. All right. So before I even kick off the actual slides, I just want to clarify one thing. As far as the information goes, I'm not just going to ramble off a bunch about you can get links here, you can get links there, and all that. But I will do a little bit of that so that you don't leave empty-handed, of course. But as far as the information goes, the one thing I want to stress is what you actually consider the definition of a link. And that's the main point that I want to make, which some of you may agree with, some of you may not. That's fine. Since it's not verifiable anyway, it's cool. So as far as that goes, it should be intermediate level. If any of you get confused or need me to rephrase something, let's just do the whole raise your hand thing, and I'll just rephrase it as best as I can. So yeah, without that, let's hope the second slide isn't messed up. All right, well, that's supposed to be at the end. So let's start with this. Typical definitions of link building. I'm pretty sure you all know what Wikipedia is, right? If you get a link from it, it's amazing. If it sticks past like a day. So according to Wikipedia, search engine optimization is the process of improving the visibility of a website or a web page in search engines via the natural or unpaid organic or algorithmic search results. One thing that I want to point out is Wikipedia did not have a page on link building. It had a page on SEO. And when you search for link building, it goes to SEO. Do remember one thing. SEO and link building are, although seems to be the same a lot, they are different. SEO is not just link building, and link building is not just SEO. It's not all-encompassing. From Web 1 Marketing. Link building is the practice of obtaining links from external websites to your own to improve both direct referrals, people clicking on the links, and search engine ranking. Not a bad definition. I mean, that pretty much nails what most people believe. Brick marketing. The process of establishing relevant inbound links to your website which help your website achieve higher ranking with the major search engines and drive targeted traffic to your site. Again, not a bad definition. So the one thing that you're going to notice so far is that these all say some sort of actual links, but they never define what a link is. That's one thing that I want you to remember. From SEO book, this is probably the most accurate definition that I could find, other than my definition, as far as what I believe. The process of building high-quality linkage data that search engines will evaluate to trust your website is authoritative, relevant, and trustworthy. Notice it does not say anything about rankings. It says authoritative, relevant, and trustworthy. Google has said it for a long time that their primary focus is user experience. Not just user experience in terms of they like your site, but that you answer the question. And that is the main thing that it comes down to. If you rank a page, you do not answer the question, you will not continue to rank very long. That's just one thing I've run across for a long time. So my definition of link building. To me, link building is a game of building connections through different methods of internet promotion. Outside of the normal Ahref links, which are basically clickable links on any page, when you hyperlink something, whatever that may be, that also counts activity on Twitter, getting tweets, retweeting to pages on your site. I'm not talking about just your root domain. It could be a deep URL. It could be an individual blog post, a category page, a tag page. It could be whatever. Those metrics are measured. However, since no one can actually do a case study that's consistent, that shows that they're measured, no one ever really counts them as being that high priority. And most people don't even count them as actually being links. Like, when was the last time you talked to someone that said, I got some links, and they go, my tweet got 50 retweets? You know, no one ever really talks about that because they don't count it as a link. It's a republish on a site of a previous link that you already had. Activity on Facebook page / group. If you set your homepage on a Facebook page and you have activity on that, that's fresh content. just like your homepage on your blog or any other site. If you keep updating it and it keeps pointing relevant information and content and data to your site, that's beneficial. Pretty simplistic as far as that goes. Just show that you're doing something. Activity on other social-like sites. Keep your link in your profile if possible. A nice little site to be able to see all the social sites. If you need a list, knowem.com/websites/all. If you want a second to write that down, you can. I really suggest you take a look at it. Knowem themselves is a service that registers the accounts, but they give you the actual site list publicly. They have a huge list. Chances are, if you've used it or heard of it, it's on that list. And then, last but not least, any other types of presence where you can list your brand and participate. If Google can find it, it matters. And that's the number one thing that you need to remember. If Google can find it in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a tweet, a Facebook like, or whatever it may be, if Google can find it, it does count. What it counts towards is a whole other story, but it does count, and it is beneficial to know, and it is beneficial to have. So here's an example. This was one of the campaigns that I did, and I grabbed the chart just so I could show you guys. Typically, this is what happens when you build links, and if you see the consistency at the end, that's normally what happens when you do it correctly. If you didn't, it'd still be spiking, going down, dropping, getting de-indexed, losing itself, dropping out of the top 100, top 1,000, whatever. But the bottom line is that slight spikes are completely natural. You got to remember, every single link you build does not mean Google will find it at that specific time. There are a reason that there are services out there that tell you they will help you get your links indexed or something along those lines, because they believe that Google either A, won't find it, B, won't count it unless it's more stressed, or C, any number of reasons. But as far as that goes, that's basically what it'll look like. If you look in the bottom left under the actual key, you'll see that it started at position number 93. And then it went up and it leveled out around 15 and stayed there ever since. So if you do it the right way with enough authority behind your links, it should peak and then stay. Granted, Google doesn't roll out a new algorithm update or something else that completely wipes you out like everyone else. So that's just an example of what normally it may look. Just remember, dancing, aka going from 13, 35, 14, 36, and all that is completely normal if you're doing anything over 100 links a day or something like that. Dancing is completely normal. It's not a bad thing. So everything you do online is noticed, which should say everything you do online, not everything you online do. So here's a list of potential metrics to look at when determining the complexity of a term. So this is basically competitor analysis, right? Except minus the competitors. You're analyzing the complexity and the actual level of how hard you think it'll be to rank a term. Top 10, top 5, whatever it may be. Domains backlinks, just in general. How many go to any page on the domain? URLs backlinks to a specific URL, whether that is the site itself, .com is ranking for a term, or .com/random string of whatever is ranking for a term. Like Amazon, you'll never really see Amazon.com ranking for a product name. It'll always be Amazon.com/ and the actual link to the product. Goes back to the whole give the user what they want to know. If you want to search for a GPS tracker, you don't want to end up at a random thing about, a marketing book. They want to know what they want to know, and that's why the actual SERPs will actually change and update based on the user experience. So then there's also domain age. How old is your domain? How many words are on your page? And I don't mean keyword density. I mean actual how many words are on your page. Big difference between 100 words of content on a page and 800. I mean, just think about it. How do you show you're invested, or how do you show that you actually worked? 100 words and you have 1,000 pages, or 10 pages and you have 1,500 words apiece? Which one would a user most likely get the best answer out of? Then you have the number/source of ads, if any, on the page. This I added because of the Panda update. Has anyone here heard of the Panda update? I did not expect that many. Awesome. Okay, so the Panda update was big because it wiped out a lot of domains. Everyone was calling it the farmer update and everything else because they thought, oh yes, we can destroy Wiki and WikiHow and eHow and all them. And it didn't, because their content actually does provide, for the most part, beneficial answers to the user. So then you have Facebook likes on the root domain, Facebook likes on a deep link. And there's more, a lot more. But since I actually have a time limit on this, I just gave a couple more. Twitter mentions to the root page, Twitter mentions to the deep link. How many digs do you have to the root page? How many digs do you have to the deep link? Stumbles, root, deep, delicious, root, deep, Google plus ones, all the way down the list. I'm not going to list all the social sites, but you get the idea. And then, of course, pages indexed. If you have 100 pages and Google only indexes 15 after a year, Google does not trust you. Either that or there's not enough pressing priority to index the rest of your pages. Usually, links will fix that. Sometimes it's your actual content. If it's too spammy, they won't index you regardless. But it all goes back to the main problem that you're there to solve. Answer the user's question. That's it. So here are the hats. White hat, seen as never breaking the rules. I'd say that's a pretty accurate depiction of white hats in general. White hats are known to do everything by, let's be honest, by the book. They never break the rules. They never go too fast. They never use, specific techniques that are deemed unethical or any other way that you want to phrase it where people just don't like it. Maybe it's too fast for the client, too fast for themselves, or they think it's going to raise a flag, something like that. Slow and steady wins the race for that. Gray hats, seen as sometimes breaking the rules. They may spam some links, but they won't cloak their on-page. So they'll do a little bit here and a little bit there, but they won't necessarily go overboard with it. The one way that I normally see it as, gray hats are normally the ones that buy links from the black hats. That's, in all honesty, that's what it is. Because most of the gray hats either use a program that they already have or code one up that's pretty basic. I'm not going to say gray hats don't know how to program, but in general, they're kind of like brokers. They buy something for $20 here, $50 here, $100 here, and when it's done, their client is front paged. They pretty much just aggregate, in my opinion. Put that there as a disclaimer. And then black hats, seen as always breaking the rules. These are the guys that most white hats will tell you, literally, that if they found you on the street, you get the idea. So as far as black hats go, they're always the ones that spam. Oh, you just got 1 million links in one day. You're obviously a black hat. You did this, you did that, you did this. Normally, there is no clear-cut definition of what a black hat will or won't do, other than they do what white hats will never do, and they do what white hats despise. So that's pretty much the definition in my eyes between them. So those of you that know Matt Cutts, there's a nice little picture of him on a playing card. So white hats, aka Mr. Clean. And those of you that know Matt Cutts know that I'm doing that for a specific reason. Most white hats like, and again, this is my definition, press releases, always seen as a good thing. You got a new product, let's put it in a press release. Let's blast that out to a list. Let's get it out here, let's do that. Because it's legitimate. Even older marketing tactics were all based around press releases, doing this, doing that, doing it the clean way. Let's throw it out to a list and see who wants to republish it. Guest posts, approaching someone that owns a site and offering to write a post for their site in return for a link or two in the bottom near the credits. Doing things manually. The only way to really say this is, let's be honest, people that go completely white hat will sit there and write a 3-paragraph comment on a blog that will never accept it. So it's doing anything manually, like actually physically manually. Like I don't want to buy 100 blog comments, I want to write them manually, even though it'll take me 9 months instead of 9 minutes. It's just, everything is just cleaner. Blogger outreach. Raise your hand if you've ever gotten an email that says, I have a site that's beneficial to your users. Yeah, Blogger outreach. Anything that has to do with this will be beneficial, this would help your users, this would be great. Great tactic, but that's definitely like the higher ends of scaling with white hat. And then of course they love Matt Cutts. Let's just be honest. Dislikes. Everyone that doesn't do things manually. I put everyone, I don't really mean everyone. Some of them actually embrace the fact that other things work. But in general, don't ever try to talk about automating links to a white hat. It will get very messy. Anything that may be too fast of a form of link building. If you say you can get 100 links in one day, to some people that'll be fast. To me, that would be slow. So it all depends on the person. But anything that may be too fast, they think might trip a flag, set off something that'll get their site penalized, whatever it may be. Automation of any sort, unless it's used for reporting. That's the only exception I've seen that's actually widespread accepted. So they won't let you automate any type of link building, but they love the fact that the reports can be automated. So again, clean. Everything external, clean. And then of course, white hats just like me. So I'm sorry, I skipped one. Any type of link that they wouldn't get themselves, which is true. A lot of times they'll say, well, I wouldn't get that. It could be either I couldn't get that or I wouldn't get that because I don't think it's clean enough. So that's basically a little quick synopsis of white hats. So as far as this goes, slow and steady wins the race. Normally that's what I think about when I think about white hat in general. A lot of the actual link building techniques, and this is the part where I said, I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. Press releases, directories, as in directory submissions, guest posts, link bait, obviously is a big one. Site-wide exchanges, whether it be three-ways, reciprocals, or whatever that may be. Emailing webmasters, in other words, blogger outreach, social bookmarks, and any other type that they deem would provide actual value to the user. So that's a quick synopsis of that. Gray hats. Obtaining or producing as many types of cleaner, in quotes, links as possible. Link bait would be like, for example, trying to think of a good example. Yeah, link bait can be any number of things. It's basically anything that if you know about it, you know that it's not necessarily true, but they phrased it in a way that everyone goes, man, this is amazing. You have to check this out. Link bait is a way of doing something that literally is so, I want to say, cool / interesting that people will actually naturally link to it. So like, for example, good example of link bait. I suddenly tell you all that SEO is dead. 10 minutes from now, one of you blogs that I said that SEO is dead, and then that post starts to get, if it wasn't said every 10 minutes already, that post starts to get linked from, hundreds of different sites going, can you believe that this happened? Can you believe that this was said? So on and so forth. Is that a good enough definition? So gray hats. Cleaner links. Doesn't mean clean, but cleaner. More complex linking schematics. Doesn't mean that you always point the links directly to your site. This could be, for example, you get a guest post on a site, and then you drop 1,000 forum profiles at it. Filtering tiers. Things that may clean up the quality a little bit. So it's not necessarily dropping all the heat directly at your site, but you kind of filter it out through a couple tiers. So you have 100,000 links pointing to 50,000 links, pointing to 20,000 links, pointing to 10,000 links, pointing to 5, pointing to your site. Just filters upon filters upon filters. When you point a link to a link, it does technically inherit some of the juice, or link weight, whatever you want to call it. So linking schematics like that is an easy way to make your site only come up with 50 links on a link audit when in all reality you've dropped mid-6 figures on it. And it technically works. Usually has testbed sites to throw new links at for testing. I know I do. I have a lot of them. I hope if you guys do any sort of promotion of like multiple sites, like 50 to 100 sites or so, you at least have one that you can test stuff on. Every single time an algorithm update comes out, it's great to have an Excel spreadsheet of 10 different sites. This has this ratio of types of links, this has this, and then the algorithm comes out and you see that 1, 2, and 4 dropped and 3 and 10 went up. It's great to be able to evaluate what happens in the actual shift. Rides the line between obviously black hat and white hats wouldn't do that. That's pretty much self-explanatory. The one thing that is the biggest thing about gray hats is, from my experience, the ones that succeed the most are the ones that do white hat on page, but they do darker link building. Lots of volume of link building, but all their on page is completely legitimate. No cloaking, no BS. They do everything to actually help the user experience. And then they just flood the crap out of it with links. So dislikes. Obviously, people who report his site to Google. That normally does not end well. Algorithm updates. Sometimes. I say sometimes because as long as they have a good enough mix, it might not actually affect the site at all. and the idea that he's doing black hat. A lot of times, if you ever talk to a gray hat that knows for a fact that he's a gray hat, he will deny that he's a black hat. He say, I might buy some black hat links, but I'm not a black hat. Extended. So normally when I think about this, I think about someone who purchases his link building from multiple sources, which are normally people with a lot of automation, black hats. He'll piece together what needs to point where and how. Examples: blog comments, blog posts, social bookmarks, forum profiles, Web 2.0s, and wikis. Now, I'm intentionally going broad on that because obviously Web 2.0s has like 10 different definitions and stuff like that, but you get the idea. Black hat. The most appropriate image I could find for it. Loves automation. I would know. I love automation. Promoting lots of sites simultaneously. I know for a fact that a black hat that is automated somewhere in the scheme of over 10 to 50,000 links a day will not promote anything less than probably, I want to say 50 to 100 sites a day, and cycle them every 2 weeks or every week. Linking schematics that'll make your head spin. And I have an example of that on the next slide. And the example really won't make your head spin, but it'll give you an idea. Building more links than an entire country in one day. I'm not even exaggerating on that. It's completely possible. And I know that firsthand. If it's scalable and has a start button, he has made it / has it. You ever heard all the people talk about, oh, I have the make money button? I woke up one morning, pressed it, and I've been collecting ever since. Most people in the SEO space have the I have links button or the I rank it button. It's not something they created overnight. They created it over months or years. But I guarantee you they won't give it to you. Because stuff like that is so complex to get going, programming, and started that you would never release that to other people. Because once it's on a certain scale, it's not worth anything anymore. Dislikes. Black hats hate snitches. Just the reality of it. If you report their site, they will go after your site if they know it's you. The time it takes to stay ahead of the curve, big time investment. Black hats can automate any type of link that they want if they're a good enough programmer or they have a good enough programmer on staff. However, they still need to know where to aim him to build the links. And that's where the research comes in. De-indexing based on footprints that could take 50% of his assets down. And just for clarification, I'm talking about in one day. It's completely possible. And then, of course, they dislike blackhat's. Again, self-explanatory. So here's a little bit of a schematic, and I will go over that in a second. But black hat is probably the one that I know the most about because I get labeled as one all the time. Black hats mostly attempt to internalize everything that they can. They want the most control over everything that they have, period. They don't want to wait for a vendor that suddenly got sick or a program that froze. They want to be able to control every aspect of it. When they say they want something, they get it done, period. And then, of course, they try to make the rank it button. Press it once, the next 3 to 6 months are completely automated. Again, completely possible if you do your research and your homework, and you lose lots of hours of sleep into doing both of those. So the types that they mostly abuse: blog comments, blog networks / posts, social bookmarks, forum profiles, and forum posts, Web 2.0s, and then types that aren't mainstream, but people still use it. Doesn't have to be WordPress, but it can be a CMS like WordPress. So for example, money site at the top is the site that you want to actually make money on. Micros could be anything between a small little auto blog that you own that automatically posts 10 posts of content a day over and over and over, or it could be a little 25-page or 5-page microsite you made about one specific niche. The bottom line is it's there for 2 reasons. 1, to rank if it can, and 2, to pass all of your link juice to your money site. It really does not matter. And then, of course, you have WordPresses, bloggers, WordPress MUs, Dig, Reddit, Stumble, any other link you can possibly find. Slam everything on the tier under your money site with it. I think that probably went over a couple people's heads. But bottom line that I'm trying to make with this is that the theoretical aspect of this is that for every tier you insert between the actual dirty link and your site is a tier that is cleaner, or a tier that mitigates risk, let's just say that way. Again, theoretical, but that's generally what it is. So here's the bottom line. Hats don't matter. Just do what works. That's my philosophy. Every single white hat will disagree with me on that, and that's fine. But the bottom line is, What works, works, and what doesn't, doesn't. It's that clear. Always have an open mind and try whatever you can test on properties and see how your sites react. I'm not saying go out and blast your new client with 100,000 links. Probably won't end well if you've never done it before. But you'll be surprised at not only the effectiveness, but the longevity behind some of the darker methods. Remember the ranking schematic I showed you? Those were links that people did not want. All of them. Every single link on that schematic was a link that someone said, I do not want because it's dirty. I do not want because it's in a bad neighborhood. I do not want it because it's, oh, here's my favorite one, no follow. I do not want it because it's da-da-da-da-da, whatever it may be. Only those links were used on that ranking. Don't trust case studies or guides on what's best, including my presentation. Do your own tests and find out for yourself. Best practices aren't a bad thing to keep in mind, but when you see it with your own eyes is when you should start believing it. What I tell you right now might be phased out in an hour. It could be phased out tomorrow. It could be phased out in a year from now. No one knows. I mean, I know plenty of people that invest, probably $20,000, $30,000 in programmers to create this tool that builds links, and the day after they release it, Google patches it or devalues the links that they're using. So now onto my guide of what I think links are actually that work or are best or whatever you want to call them. These are just the types. These are the main genres that I usually talk about, come up with, or whatever you may call it. Forum links, blog links, social links, article links, press release links, directory links, and Web 2.0s. Is anyone here a programmer? All right, cool. So you guys will understand this. You know what footprints are, right? The ability to be able to tell what CMS a site is running by looking at the source code and stuff like that. The reason I classified these like that is because they're running on different footprints. When they affect the ranking power of one type of link, it will not necessarily cross into another. There are obviously other possibilities, like for example, there are blog links and then there are article links on blogs. Those sometimes can cross. Now comes the fun part. Who here has heard of XRumor? Oh yeah. Who here has used XRumor? Who here still uses XRumor? Who here loves XRumor? Oh yes. For those of you that are not programmers or do not know what XRumor is, and I guarantee you I'm not going to pop you with an affiliate link for this, but it is the number one, and I will say that even though I have built my own, it is the number one program for people to use to generate links from forums. Probably one of the best I've ever seen. Probably because it was coded by a Russian spammer, but that's not the point. What it can do, and I'm not even exaggerating, it can register the account on a forum. You know the CAPTCHAs that say, please type the phrase below in the box? It will crack that on its own. It won't outsource it. It will programmatically crack it on its own. It will check your email account, find the verification links, automatically associate that verification link to the account that you created. It will create 100,000 profiles in under 10 minutes and know exactly what link corresponds to what account. It will set up your full profile, whether that is bio, location, your ICQ number, anything you want, signatures. And it'll even post a message in a new thread, another thread, and here's the cool part, register another account and reply to itself in a conversation. I am, again, not even joking. You can make it do something and it says, what is the best type of link building? It will go back in 2 months and reply and say, it's obviously forums. And that one will have a signature link. Forum links. I didn't want to just go into the black hat stuff, so these can also be used for white hats as well. Again, going across the whole white hats and hats don't really matter thing, but site-wide links. You can get a site-wide footer, a site-wide header, a site-wide category. You can get whatever you want to get as long as it's site-wide. On every single page of a site, you can get it. You can get an in-content link, which is actually in the post of a thread. You can get a signature link, which is a signature that goes on every single post that you create at the bottom. Profile links, just on your profile. Category-wide links. This one is pretty big as far as the big mainstream forums go. You can find that companies will sponsor a category, and when they click on it, it goes directly to their site. Not even a subforum, but it looks like a subforum. And then category redirects, which is exactly what I just said. But the category-wide links, going back, because I kind of got ahead of myself. The category-wide links are ones that you can literally sponsor an entire category. And then whenever you go into that category, at the top it says, welcome to the SEO category. This is about link building and da-da-da-da-da. It'll say sponsored by. And people can buy that from forums, and every single post in that category will have a link to your site. Blog links. Oh, also, if you guys didn't see it, those are all the images, are the different types of forum programs. So Simple Machines, IPB, PHPBB, and vBulletin. vBulletin is obviously the big one that's known because it's costs money and it's pretty stable. PHPB is known because it's free. IPB is known because it was free and before PHPBB, and it's kind of lost it since then. And then Simple Machines is the new one. Well, newer one. Blog links. Movable type, B2 Evolution, WordPress. There are a lot more than this, but I'm giving you the main three that I know about. Contextual blog posts. Paid posts. You can pay to have someone review your product. Guest post. You can write your own post and then have them post it on their blog. Blog network posts. For people that run blog networks and private networks, and they'll say, I'll give you 50 links across 50 different articles on our network. You get 50 links, all in content on their network. Buying a link in an existing post. If you guys know about some of the monthly link building companies, the ones that let you say, oh, I want an anchor for, I don't know, some random term, buy GPSs. It'll actually go in to all the people that have ever posted on a blog or anything that is in the program and let you buy that phrase on that page for a monthly fee. To put it simply, textlinkads.com. Perfect example. Then you have blog comments, blog roll links, which are the same as a site-wide. However, and I believe I have a slide that talks about page segmentation. Google knows the difference between a blog roll link that's on the sidebar and a footer. There is a difference. There is a difference as far as link strength goes between those two. And then, of course, there's the site-wide footer, which you'll see a lot of people that'll go and say, I'll give you $500 for the year if you throw this on here and keep posting, twice a day. Social links. This is the part I want you to really pay attention to. I put social in quotes because there are two types of social links if you go by my definition of what a link is that I said earlier. Social bookmarking sites, like bookmarks, comments, traditional stuff. So those are basically, Plig sites, stuff like that, if you guys are familiar with Plig. You go in, you submit your bookmark. It's basically like browser bookmarks, but web-based. A lot of people use them so they can pull up their bookmarks wherever they are. Then there are stories. And by the way, they do overlap a little bit. They can be interchangeable. Stories, entities that can be rated, +1, liked, anything that can basically be upvoted, downvoted. Think Reddit, think Dig, think anything along those lines. So that includes Facebook likes, Digs, Stumbles, Reddit, Google +1s, and Twitter. Retweets do count. There is a reason Twitter has an API that lets you pull the number of retweets on a URL as well as on an actual tweet. Think about it. Article links with our good little panda friend eHow. These are probably one of the most common link building footprints, I should say, that are used mainstream. White hats use it, black hats use it, gray hats use it. People that don't even know what SEO is use it. That's just the bottom line. They can be the cleanest of links or the darkest of links. But the bottom line is they're articles and they work. So you can get links in the body of the article. You can get links in the resource section or resource box. Normally that's one of two places. It's either at the bottom under the article or it's on the sidebar next to it. And then, of course, you get links on the author about me page, which normally, if you have 500 articles on a site, 500 of those articles will link to the profile, which then links to your site. Press releases. When they're executed correctly, can carry a good amount of link weight to your site. Free PR sites are not necessarily bad. I do want to stress that. A link is a link, period. But the paid ones get you a lot of syndication. So in content of the actual press release, the sidebar or resource box, just like the other articles, the author page, which only some PR sites will have author pages. But it's good to have if it's an option. I mean, hey, it's a free option. Who doesn't like a free option? And just so you have the list, PR Newswire, PR Web, and PR Log. PR Log, I believe, is still free across the board. PR Web and PR Newswire are both paid, but their syndication is pretty good. You can get links from subsets of Fox News and stuff like that. Directory submissions, my favorite one, because it's either extremely good or extremely bad. There are two types. The high quality ones are almost always paid and the lower quality ones are almost always free. I know that basically is just spelling out the obvious, but that's really what it is. So you can have a listing on a list of other listings As redundant as that sentence is, it's literally, when someone goes to a category, there is a list of sites. That is one. Some of them will link directly to your site, others will link to a subpage. And then a standalone page with just your listing on that. So for example, out of these that I have up here, hot versus not is one. I believe it's either free or like $50. Best of the web normally actually has a booth here, I think. Best of the web, I believe, is $2.99. No, they upped it, I think, to $3.99 for a lifetime link. Business.com is, I believe, a $300, and I think it's yearly. Yahoo Directory is $2.99 a year. DMOZ, I mean, let's be honest, don't waste your time. It's owned by Google. But DMOZ is great if you can get a link, but I still have links pending from 4 years ago. So great if you have a couple spare minutes, but don't count on it. And then if you have any type of shopping site, whether you're selling products or something along those lines, you have to actually sell them to get this link, but Joe Ant is $50 for a lifetime link. And they're pretty good about their selection process. So does everyone have those? Web 2.0s. If you haven't heard of at least one of these, you don't have a computer. It's the most vague way to say sites with a social component. Basically, that's the most blanket term you can give it. Any type of community, something you can comment on, rate, give feedback about, post something, upload something, do something along those lines. You can get profile links like your YouTube profile link. You can get in content links, video descriptions, article descriptions, updates, posts, etc. So updates, for example, on Flickr, you can post one image and you can actually give a description of that image. If you somehow get a link from that, that's one link from actually that. Or you can upload 500 images and only get one link. The choice is yours when it comes to that. It all depends on how involved you want to look on that account with that actual fleshing out of the account with all the other profiles and everything else. One link isn't just one link sometimes. This is the biggest thing that most people do not grasp. I don't mean that you're always going to end up getting more than one link directly, but this is the power behind internal linking. Almost all of the big Web 2.0 sites, the main sites, the ones that are big that you know about, Facebook, all those other ones, they all try to do as much internal linking as possible because it helps. There's a reason Twitter is so freaking powerful. It internal links everything, literally everything. So for example, you post a blog entry about my session and you have a plugin that auto tweets it to your Twitter account. Your post is now linked to from your blog homepage because you have the recent post on the sidebar. Linked to from your tags that you tagged it with. Linked from your archive pages, which depending on your plugin you use for the SEO may or may not be indexable. But either way, it's still a link. Linked to from your category or categories. And then if you have the recent post widget as well, that's another thing. There is a difference between getting a link from your homepage and getting a recent post. Recent posts are site-wides. Homepage, obviously, if you have the traditional blog format, every new one is at the top. Then your next one pushes down one, and then that's the new one. For the tweets, assuming that your plugin uses the tags, categories, and hashtags, you now have a link from the tweet, normally through a redirect. Does not matter. Your tweet gets listed on the search pages for all the hashtags. Does matter. Your tweet gets listed on every list that someone has listed you on. Does matter. I'm not even going to go into the syndication like TweetMeme. Because next thing you know, you've got a crap load of sites linking to you, and I'm not even going to go into that. Now think about someone retweets that. Now it's on all the lists again, all the lists that they're listed on, the hashtags again, everything all over again. Granted, those will not always directly link to your site, but they will link to the profile that links to your site, or link to a list that links to the profile that links to your site. Internal links are powerful for a reason. Prime example, Wikipedia. Here's an example about how being active on a site like Dig can increase one's link power exponentially. For every single entity that you thumbs up on Dig, that story will link to your profile. I don't know if you guys have actually looked into that, but it lists every profile that has ever literally dug something on that specific article. That means that every single time that you thumbs up something, the main page of your profile gets an internal link. Now think about this. You submit a story. You thumbs up 20 stories on the front page. Now your profile has 20 internal links where the only link on your profile is your actual site that you're trying to promote. Now you have the power of 20 internal links pushing indirectly to your actual site. And all you had to do was click a button 20 times, or 10 times, or 100 times. I mean, hell, go nuts, 1,000 times. Here's a fun little graph. I wanted to actually include this because it's not just about link building, but in general. But it did a very good job of actually classifying it. I'm going to ignore that it was from HubSpot. So you have keyword research and on-page optimization and backlink anchor text under targeted keywords. That is where you're focusing on going. You have the number of backlinks and backlink authority under site authority. Please note, backlink anchor text was not under site authority. That is the main reason I use this image. It is different. Competition for keywords goes under SERP rank with the targeted keywords and site authority, which then goes into traffic volume. Next one down, number of keyword searches obviously goes into traffic volume. Keyword relevance goes into traffic quality, which goes into conversions. Everything eventually goes into conversions in general. But the bottom line that I want you to take away from this one is the top 5 of them. Everything under SERP rank except for competition of keywords. The keyword research, the on-page optimization, the backlink anchor text, the number of backlinks, and the backlink authority. All of those wrap up into a nice little algorithm that places whether or not you are worth a shot at the top 10. That's the bottom line. Is your page worthy to even get the question asked by users? Think about it. That's really what Google qualification really is. Is your page worthy of getting asked the question? Because they don't want to let the user down and you not to answer the question. Think about it. Passive promotion through syndication. It's obviously pretty simplistic to say, but if you do link building using any number of methods and they give you an RSS feed, submit it somewhere. There are plenty of sites that will let you submit an RSS feed and forever, for the life of the site, keep updating it over and over. You want to do this if you're going to update the same source multiple times. Number one thing I can make a recommendation, even for the people that want to stick really clean. Who here's heard of eZine articles? Okay. Are you aware that eZine articles gives you an RSS feed for all of your and your alone posts? Submit that to directories. Every single new post out of nowhere will suddenly get 50 links. Think about it. Passive promotion. You set it up one time, you don't worry about it ever again. Good examples, Feed Fury, Feedage, Feed Fairy, RSS Mountain, and Blog Catalog. Blog Catalog is pretty big because of the social aspect. You can actually comment on other people's stuff. You can rate it. Feed Fury is good for just passive. They keep, last time I checked, an index of every post you've ever made since you started. Just remember the number one rule. Whatever it is that you're doing to promote your sites, just make sure that it can be viewed by other people. I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again. There's no point in doing promotion if no one sees it. You need to, that's pretty much the definition of promotion, isn't it? To get it in front of more people, to get it more noticed. That's what true link building is all about. It doesn't have to be a specific type. They don't even have to be the traditional definitions of links. They don't even have to be hyperlinks. Promotion is promotion. When it comes down to it, you're either doing it or you're not. And that's the bottom line. If you think about it realistically, have you ever tried promoting your site without linking to your site? Like when you syndicate your articles, do you ever just put the name of your site on there, but don't link to it and think about what happens? Or you put the name of your site and then the HTTP, but you don't link it, you just let it in pure text? Google knows how to make associations. Google knows how to do that. So without further ado, let's get to the fun part. Questions, comments, or if you are really confused. Obviously, there's my contact information. Don't spam me. I won't spam you. Trust me, I have more opt-in lists than you do. So as far as that goes, I believe Sean Collins wants me to try this brand new mechanism for Q&A. So feel free to text the question. And I will stand up here for absolutely no reason and wait. Just so I know, is anyone actually asking a question? Okay, all right, cool. Does anyone want to ask one verbally until those come up on the screen?
After we get the links out there,
Yeah.
could you elaborate a little bit on how important it is to have the links crawled or indexed?
Okay.
Should we not worry about that, or should we actively try to get those links crawled?
Good question. Okay, so the question was, when you actually build links, should you actually attempt to get them crawled? Or attempt to actually get them found faster, or whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a different definition of this. I personally don't care. My whole philosophy is it's a lot easier to build 1,000 links now and then have them find it at a natural pace than to basically go to Google and just show it up and just be like, oh, why don't you look at this? And try to have them actually find it. I'd much rather let them do it naturally than try to force it. I have no idea why I'm so sexy. It just comes naturally to me. I mean, it's just, Okay, how do those directory sites make money? Okay, let's have some fun with this. Whoever asked that question, stand up. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's what I thought. Are you talking about the free ones or paid ones? Because obviously the paid ones, we know how they make money.
Yeah, but also, I was just wondering in general, there's a lot of different, there's advertisers, there's paid ones, I was just wondering what you thought the best business model was for a directory site.
To be honest, the best business model for a directory site, the best one that actually keeps you alive would just be the ones that you give it away for free or you require a reciprocal. I really hate reciprocals, but it's better than nothing. Other than that, premium listing. A lot of them, the free ones, you can get the link for free, but the other thing about it is that they let you advertise on the category for $50 a month. Like Yahoo directory, for example, you pay $2.99 a year, and then on top of that, you can pay $50 a month to be the number one advertising, kind of like Google has the organic, and then Google has the paid on top of the organic. Same concept, but applied to Yahoo directory.
And there's no quality control because you just pay in.
And now you know why I spam them. Now you know why I spam them. There is no quality control on free ones. Let's be honest. Who's going to sit there for absolutely no money and click approve or deny for 1,000 sites? They still qualify them. They look at them. Most of them auto approve only if you're a previous directory subscriber. And then other than that, I think they go through the approval process. But it's no different than the AdWords ones. It's like auto approve until someone says, please take this off because it's offensive or something. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for those first, I have more else.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Which one of these three shall I pick? Yeah. Apparently, from what I hear, I can't scroll down, though. Or can I? Can I scroll down? No? Ballin'. Okay. Let's go with the big one before it scrolls off the... Oh, damn it. Come on! Work with me here. All right. I do not know the price of rice in China. My favorite link building service is myself. What are your favorite link services to buy right now? I don't know. As far as the favorite link building services to buy right now, it depends on where you buy them from. Personally, I buy them from Wicked so I have a completely different opinion of everything else. Let me see. Sweet. Who was the one that said I shouldn't be here talking? Please stand up. Come on. Was you? Sit down. No, I legitimately want to know who this is because I have a question. The one that said that he spends 20 minutes a day deleting such links from his forum.
I have a good forum, I have a good blog.
Where is the spam on your forum or your blog? Okay. For your blog, do you use a Kismet?
I manually have to.
But do you use a Kismet, the plugin? Okay, use a Kismet. It all really depends. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to glorify that, Well, actually, yeah, I'm trying to glorify it. But the way, you spend what, 20 minutes a day deleting them? It would take you 2 minutes to install the plugin. A Kismet stops it. And on forums, all you have to do is put a custom question. What is the first letter of my domain? And it'll stop all your bots. Right. I mean, if you want tips on how to stop that, I can literally give you 2 links that'll cut out your 20 minutes a day, like right after the session. I'm not joking. I mean, I don't just spam. I also work on anti-spam as well, so I can kind of help you out with that. What? I beat myself, and then I beat myself the other way. Okay, so the whole washing links concept is the fact of, you know how everyone always says, don't point dirty links to your site or it's going to get penalized or whatever. So what most people do is that they have a site that they don't really care what happens because the link juice will pass through it. So rather than spamming random people's sites, I have my own sites that I spam myself, and then I pass them through that. So like my main site will be ranking for whatever term, let's say credit repair or something. I'll have maybe 30 sites under that I don't care if they rank or not. Their sole reason is to be there to basically take the hit as far as the quality control goes. I don't care if they get nuked. I don't care if they die. I don't care if they get de-indexed, as long as the power still passes through to my main site. And that's just the bottom line. What percentage do you automate backlinking? It depends on your definition of automate. Are you talking programmatic or outsourcing as well? And that was a cue to stand up if that was your question. Outsourcing as well? I automate 100%. Except for writing my own blog posts and this session. Let's see. I didn't have a blue shirt handy. Sorry. Risk reward decision for your sites that you really care about. It really depends on the site. It all comes down to what most people say. If it's making money, then it's obviously worth more than one that's not making money. Although if that's not your intention and your intention is purely traffic, then it's a whole nother ballgame. Obviously, I do a lot of tests. I test a lot of stuff to figure out what really works for what, how does what, so on and so forth. So that's basically covers, risk versus, it's all to you. It's what's your threshold? If you can wake up in the morning and say, well, I lost it, oh well, then obviously, go for it, have fun. But it all depends on what you want to do. Obviously, if your site's making $500 a day, it's going to be kind of harder to, deal with that. But it all comes up to you. For some people, $500 a day from one site is not a big deal. For others, it's a life. So it all comes up to your risk versus reward. I'm not going to wear a hat so you can judge me. I think I made it clear what my hat is. And if not, the other question did. High PR links or more links from relevant sites. Okay, since I didn't go over PR. PR is PageRank. For those of you that don't know, Google's nice exportable, score for a page. The downside to it, obviously, is that it's only updated like every couple months. I think last time they updated twice in 2 months, which is amazing. But in general, PageRank over the course of everything else is a great metric if it's fresh. If it's not, then it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm more interested in the site that will hold a PR3 for over 2 years than I would be for a PR5 that just got it. Because I don't know if they're going to hold it, but I know the PR3 can hold it over 2 years. I do not care about the rate of link building because I do not do indexing on any of my links, to go back to the other question. And I also do not ping out my links. I do not do anything like that. I let Google find them naturally. Link wheels still work depending on the platform. Link wheels in the traditional sense of going from, random 2.0 sites to random 2.0 sites to random 2.0 sites. Nah, it works, but the bigger you get with the more spokes you have, what if one goes down? It breaks the entire chain. So most people do link wheels differently than I do, but it still works as long as your sites stay live. Contextual links versus non-contextual. Contextual links in general carry a lot more weight. Just because of the fact of, if you think about it, what kind of weight is one blog comment going to have versus one blog post on, whatever site? And the one thing that's the biggest when it comes to contextual is, if you ever want to test it, do like one of your sites where you literally have 2 domains, fresh, same content, same everything. Do one blog comment to one and one contextual to the other, and just follow those and see what happens. I guarantee the contextual will carry a lot more weight. Not necessarily link weight, but authority weight, which will unlock the link weight when you go higher up. Article spinning depends on your spinner. For article spinning, there's a lot of different spinners. Like there's the best spinner and Spinner Chief and all those. Spinning is amazing, actually, if you can use it the right way. Most of the links that I build are all based around articles. Like, I don't even do forum links anymore or any of those. Like, I don't do them. I don't care. But with articles, if you do spinning, I mean, it can save you a lot of money. I mean, let's just be honest, as long as the spinner is good enough. Because I know we use one that's in beta right now. And the spinner literally could go through my entire presentation. I did this with a couple slides. And the accuracy on being able to understand it was about 95%. If you run any of my slides through the best spinner, you're going to be crying trying to understand it. So it all depends on really what you do. Some spinners are just based to try to get you the $80 a year. Others actually really work. But nice little tip for you, it's not about the spin tax, it's about how you evaluate it. And for the programmers that I just said that to, think about it. It'll up your uniqueness 3 times over. No follow links versus do follow links. I'm not even going to get into that because I personally don't give a crap about that because, I mean, let's be honest, no follow links are still links. A link is a link, period. That's just the bottom line. Any link will count depending on how you want it to count. Certain links are good for certain things. Other links are bad for certain things. You just got to know where it's actually going to be best fit. And other than that, I believe my time is up. So thank you.